Hey, are you seriously podcasting alone?
Nah, I'm with my...
Wakey bitches.
Ay. Ooh boy, I'm feeling even more gay than yesterday.
That rhymes. Nice.
What's the name of the Australian crocodile hunter?
Crocodile? No, that's not.
Crocodile Dundee?
Crocodile Dundee was a movie.
Yeah.
That's Steve Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
John's dressed like Steve Irwin today.
He looks like Steve Irwin.
He came safari themed.
He looks like Steve Irwin's.
I came to wrestle
Elizabeth
some alligators today
let 'em be.
and some Ugandan homo haters.
Homo haters, baby.
Homo
Wrestle
haters
them
are
like
going
crocodiles in the Nile. Just
They're political
swirling around
crocodiles
with
right
them.
now.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am John, sitting here with another John and one Nicola.
Hi.
Only one. And I have as well to my right, I have my podcast director,
one and
moderator,
only.
Priscilla. Thank
The
you
goat.
for
Hi.
being here. She's going to make sure that we stay on track and don't talk too much shit. So,
But we still do.
oh yeah. So are you guys ready to dive into some more poo-poo?
I'm down. Let's
Or
fucking do it.
Today we're getting DEEPAH into the poo-poo.
I'm hungry.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Good.
yo.
So last week we talked about Pastor Dr. Martin Eat the Poo Poo Ssempa, the man who has become Uganda's greatest meme, and we will continue to talk about him today. But I wanted to touch on something he often mentions when going into his anti-gay discourse.
How tasty is poo poo?
Right? Like ice cream.
Like ice cream.
Like ice cream.
vanilla
Look
ice
at the
cream. Somehow.
So just to give ourselves a little refresher, I'm going to once again play the poo poo video.
Shit. For context.
This one is poo-pooing, and this one is eating the poo-poo all over the place. Huh?
Oh, yes.
Tell
oh, yes.
me,
That's all you hear in
when
the
you have a
background.
law against homosexuality, do you say except eating poo-poo? Hey, I mean, look at this guy sincerely.
I love
him
that.
showing the
I
video.
always love that peak. Like, just look
I
at
love the man who dies like,
Hajat,
Nah.
we do not want this sickness. This is sick, and it's therefore deviant. We do not want it.
Fuck, you couldn't have chose a better freaking accent for a politician. Oh my god.
is sick.
Put him in Congress in the US, bro. Just for the memes. Him versus Trump.
I mean, he's been there.
No, but I mean like for president.
Oh, yeah. Ssempa for president now.
Shit would be jokes.
Quite a good line. Never gets old, honestly. But this time, I want to bring attention to something that happens a little later on in that conference. So, later in that presentation, Ssempa brings up a quote-unquote former gay to tell the people how the gays lured her as a 16-year-old with, like, gifts and all this sort of shit.
I wish gays would come through with
Yeah,
this.
I really wish
That'd
that
be really
gay
cool.
people would pull up to me and like, hey, buddy, you want a laptop?
Just that little
Yes.
witch in an alley with an apple.
Come
Just
here
like,
and
take this.
suck
You're going to
this
be gay.
dick.
The only reason I'm not gay is because they don't offer me cars.
So here we're going to hear that right now. And as with every clip, media, picture that we're going to show on this podcast, I have a PowerPoint that I made for this episode. So you'll find that in the description. So you can see everything there.
I
Yeah,
wonder if they lure him with a Volkswagen Beetle.
yeah please do.
So this is Sandra. She's a young girl who was recruited from school at the age of 16. After 3 years of living with older lesbians, she's out to tell her story.
Older
Just
lesbians.
read your statement.
Members from sexual minorities Uganda brought to our school Interact Club.
The young woman recounted how she was lured, with money and gifts, into a homosexual lifestyle. The story struck a familiar and clearly effective chord. Ssempa regularly paints a picture of
Familiar?
opportunistic Westerners with deep pockets, preying upon Africa's impressionable, poor youth.
What kind of things do they give apart from money to seduce young girls and young boys into homosexuality?
I was given a laptop.
A laptop.
A
I was given an
laptop.
iPod.
Yo.
How can we
Call me gay
Africans
tomorrow.
suffer
Do
they give
when
podcast
American
microphones?
money,
Actually, we need one
Swedish
more.
money
We need better.
Is being used to seduce
So
our
guys,
children
who's swinging for a
into
microphone?
lesbianism and homosexuality.
According to Ssempa, the United Nations, American billionaire George Soros, and the country of Sweden are all part of a vast conspiracy to spread homosexuality in Uganda and across Africa in general.
I am not ignorant of the fact that the homosexuals and their sympathizers have basically taken over
the way it says sympathizers.
the entire Western civilization institutions of power. There's an aristocracy that really looks at homosexuals as a super class.
In addition to the conspirators abroad, Ssempa and his allies have also begun targeting organizations closer.
Uganda homos revealed.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. So that little bit ends with this article showing the two priests, and it's titled Uganda homos revealed. We're going to talk about that article a little later.
That guy on the left fucks. I don't care what you say.
The guy on the left fucks?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, okay, sure.
He does not abstain.
Does he?
I don't know.
What does he fuck?
He fucks around.
Fucks around.
That's what he fucks.
Did he fuck you, John?
So,
I mean,
is that how you got your shirt?
For a podcast microphone, I'll do it for you guys. I'll do it for Priscilla. As long as the priest doesn't try to keep me.
The priest don't try to keep me. Fuck, I'd do it's like, would you suck a dick for $1 million? I think most of us in reality would say yes, but like,
I mean, $1 million is a bit
low
low.
Would you go though?
How low would you?
how deep?
I mean, what if it's like I just like licked it a little for like a laptop?
No. If it's those, it's until they finish.
Licked it a little bit
For a laptop, bro, it's like $300.
No, dude, a laptop. I'm thinking like a $2,000 laptop. Just
Well,
give
what kind
it
of
a couple.
laptop are we talking? Yeah.
Like a
Yeah,
fucking
that's very true.
Alienware or something fucking fancy.
Or he wants a fucking
Like,
Apple.
If somebody walks up
A
to you
couple
with,
licks, just like,
About a couple licks for a laptop. I mean,
you know?
if somebody walks up to you with that question and you respond by saying, well, what kind of laptop? it already
He already
implicates
wins.
that you're willing for the right laptop. you'll suck some dick.
gives you like an Acer that's like maybe like half the size of this table.
I know we go buy the thing together,
Yeah, exactly.
Buy it together. You should have it up front, bro.
We're going to Apple.
He's just gonna walk away from you.
No, I'm saying like we go buy the laptop, then I'll fucking give him a little licks in the car. Contact me at.
Contact me
Whoa.
out. Nick's here.
So as you can see in the video, he's there. He can be seen talking about some global conspiracy, ranking the gays as a secret class of people looking to dominate. Now, Ssempa and many supporters of anti-gay legislation in Africa love to play the colonizer card. Even podcasts from other countries, as I was talking about last time, express these bills as like monolithic stands against a history of neo-colonialists. But that's not really true. Actually, Africa has had a long, complex history with LGBT plus people. Africa's queer population can actually see their roots in places and times that even precede colonial rule.
This is where it gets real deep.
This is where we get heavy deep, man. So, Africa itself actually has a recorded history of LGBTQ presence. Some of the evidence even goes as far back as 2,000 years ago. So, here, I want to show you guys, these are... Wait,
For real, you have to go check the link because there is a whole ass PowerPoint for this, guys.
yeah, so please come check out. So here, what I'm
You
showing is like...
have to.
Here, what you're seeing is a cave painting it's from the San Bushman people. So this one is recorded to be within like 2,000 years old, apparently.
Come on, nuts and nuts
And
and
where's
boy.
this, Zimbabwe?
So Zimbabwe, basically, yeah. So it's near Zimbabwe, yeah. Even in the 1500s, European settlers, quote unquote settlers, recorded not only homosexuality but also tribes with gender fluid identities. So Uganda itself has seen tribes with their own versions of transgenderism, cross-dressing, and homosexuality altogether. In different groups such as the Tezo and Karamojan people, the term Mudoko Daka signified effeminate males who the societies even classified as their own gender. The Mudoko Daka were treated as women and could marry men.
I mean, there's those kind of stories absolutely everywhere in the world.
Yeah, ever since the Roman Empire.
Like before that too. I mean, in like tribes in like South America too that have the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically like a replica of that in even North America. They have the same exact thing.
The question is really not why are you gay or who is gay, but
Since when are you gay?
since when are you gay?
Since the beginning of time.
So here's a quote from The Guardian here about this. From the 16th century onwards, homosexuality has been recorded in Africa by European missionaries, adventurers, and officials who used it to reinforce the ideas of African societies in need of Christian cleansing. The Portuguese were, John too,
They
being
always
called out here.
Every time it's a Portuguese,
oh
I'm
my
being
God.
shot, and then
That's
they tell
why-
me it's not a real country.
Well, Portugal isn't a real country, but
See what I
here,
mean?
here
That's
they,
why you got your Savannah fucking
Thank God
outfit.
we stopped them.
Guys, I'm from Australia today. Okay,
Nah,
Stop.
Yeah, he came in with his Australian garb, thinking
Yeah.
we weren't gonna notice. He's actually.
I'm trying to be
Portuguese.
undercover here because I knew this Portuguese
You're
was
in
going to come
South
up.
Africa right now.
So the Portuguese were among the first Europeans to explore the continent. Explore, quote unquote. They noted the range of gender relations in African societies and referred to the, quote, unnatural damnation of male-to-male sex in Congo. Andrew Battelle, an English traveler in the 1590s, wrote this of the Imbangala of Angola.
What makes this type of thing like unnatural?
Is the poo poo.
It's like
Because
witchcraft.
they eat the poo-poo.
Oh,
Because things come out of the butt, and they be like, things shouldn't go in the butt.
But straight people put things in the butt.
Yeah.
So are we unnatural?
but you pee out of your pussy too. You know? So
Right?
plot
Interesting.
twist.
Interesting. Anyway, so this explorer,
Math.
Priscilla shakes her head.
Yeah,
No.
listen. So this explorer had this to say. He said, quote, "They are beastly in their living, for they have men in women's apparel, whom they keep among their wives."
What? That's
He's got, like, I don't know, they're seeing people with multiple wives, and then just one of them happens to be a dude
I mean, hey.
who was like effeminate and shit. So like,
Bro, he needs a bro. It's too many women.
honestly, sounds like a good time, you know? Whenever he's
sounds like
sick
a
of-
party. Why don't you fuck off?
When he's,
Sounds
when,
like he's trying to like balance the ratios over here.
Yeah, like he's like, oh, these women are kind
Somebody
of nagging
sounds
me.
jealous.
Maybe he just wants to share his wives too. Like
Sometimes he just needs a boy, you know?
It's a philanthropist.
Hang out.
Yeah. I want my little soy boy. So that's not to say that there wasn't any anti-gay sentiment in Africa before either. This is from Foreign Policy magazine. Even though LGBT plus identities had existed in Africa since before colonialism, their existence was not always welcomed and tolerated. For instance, while homosexuality to the Zande people in South Sudan was indigenous and commonplace, they were harsher on women. Lesbianism was considered witchcraft and could even warrant execution.
sounds like jealous motherfuckers.
Abrahamic
Just-
religions have exacerbated homophobia, and it might have become prevalent on the continent without U.S. evangelical backing. This trend is clearest in Senegal, a majority Muslim country where the capital, Dakar, used to be considered Africa's, quote, gay capital, but is now experiencing rising homophobia. Just last year, protesters lined the streets of Dakar, demanding stricter laws and longer prison sentences for gay people in the country. It's a bit of both. You know, it's not like you can't fully put it on colonizers because there did also exist this other history.
I think
before they
we
even pulled
can
up.
put it on religious leaders. Like not specifically like white religious leaders, but all of them like kind of getting these ideas through religion.
But yeah, because like even I mean, if you go to consider like even the tribal like evidences, like too, like the people who have like these other beliefs, you know, in these tribes, they also like that's witchcraft and everything like that. I can fuck a dude, but that chick wanting to fuck that chick, that's witchcraft.
Well, because
Bro, that's jealousy.
I
as
just like
fuck.
I'm jealous. Witchcraft. Witchcraft.
But it's also they're stealing women away from men. But
Yeah.
you can't steal a man away from.
No.
Yeah, but if you can have four
Exactly.
wives, like just fucking like look for another
Yeah.
wife. Like dog.
Clearly, there's too many women around.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you guys the story of a king from Uganda. So this is going to be fun.
Oh.
So upon researching the topic of Uganda's queer story, I came across the story of King Mwanga II of Buganda.
Gay.
Hold on here. He's an Ugandan king who ruled back in the 19th century and was purported to have been gay and at least bisexual. But the truth might actually
just
be
Roman.
a little more complex than that. What'd you say?
He's just Roman.
Yeah, like just every Roman dude.
Yeah. it's just
I'm
like
going to
the-
have a boy
they just-
tonight.
They just like the orgies, bro. They're like, whatever comes. Whatever comes.
Whoops. Wrong hole, wrong person.
So-
Whoops, it was dark.
So Danieri Basamula Ekere Mwanga II Mukasa, Mwanga II for short. I apologies if I'm butchering any name here, by the way. Not my language, but I'm trying my best. His father was King Mutisa I of Uganda. Mwanga's mother was the 10th of Mutisa's 85 wives. Mwanga II came to power at the age of 16. Being a king granted him a harem of wives just like his father. Mwanga II was reported to have also kept men in his harem.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Well, what if you want like a poker night and a good time at the same time?
For real.
But it's all boys in the hood,
All boys.
He just kept his boys in the house. What's okay about it?
Tonight is a boys' night.
Poker and blowjobs.
So Mwanga II had girl wives and boy wives. End of story, right?
Who's going to do the gardening?
No. Well, not exactly. During Mwanga II's rule, he saw the slow creeping tentacles of the Christian missions as the biggest threat to his kingdom. His father had more luck with this because he pitted Catholics, Protestants, and Muslims against each other, and he kind of just stayed in the background.
Was the dad gay
divide
too?
and conquer.
No, not reported really.
You got that divide and conquer method.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mwanga II would have a little more of an aggressive approach towards all of this.
Dividing those cheeks.
So what's coming here? Really, the history was really hard to find on this, and so what you're gonna hear right now, take with a grain of salt. Because I ended up really just finding it from a blog post that listed their sources, but yeah. So this is King Mwanga II of Uganda, by the way.
Damn, he's got those Jesus paintings on the right. Damn.
Yeah, he's got 2 types of paintings. It's cool looking dude.
It's pretty nice.
So he was a
Handsome
bisexual
boy.
guy.
Yeah. So here you go. So this is basically, take it with a grain of salt. So within his first year of ruling, Mwanga had 10 Christians executed. Following that, he had the Archbishop James Hannington, as he arrived at the kingdom on October 29th, 1885, also executed.
Nice. I like this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Instant aggression. So to make things worse, Mwanga's harem, which consisted of both men and women, had been infiltrated by these new religious ideas, and they were superseding old traditions.
What year is this, by the way?
19th century, late 19th century, so 1885. His rule is between the end of the,
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
It's fairly recent.
fairly recent. So basically, his harem started having what's it called? They started having these Christian ideas as well. Somebody started passing them on to him. So in the old traditions of
Who
Uganda,
brought a Bible to the orgy?
yeah,
Come on,
exactly. What is that?
Guys,
What is that?
Guys, I know we just did. I know we just rocked this world, but
Well,
let's
let's have
open the
some
Bible
action.
and pray together.
Yeah. So normally in the old traditions of Uganda, the kabaka, which means king, was the authority. You couldn't tell a kabaka no about basically anything. So when Mwanga wanted to sleep with some of the boys in his harem,
His boys
was trying to have a night with the boys, which was according to Ugandan tradition, his right, according to tradition, and they told him no, and because of this, it conflicted with, they were being taught their new faith and that men had to lie with women.
Dude, what if these boys weren't gay?
Well, I mean, that's possible.
That's rough.
That's very possible.
It's possible. They just want a golden throne.
The homies being like, "Ayo, you're the king, fine, but I'm not really into it."
I'll do it.
I'll do it, but
for a
nobody
laptop.
else. If it's not royalty,
What
it's
was the
nobody.
1880s equivalent of a laptop?
Of course.
Maybe a
I'll give you cattle.
maybe a rainforest stick,
A farmhouse.
He just goes to his room after getting fucked.
Yes.
He's just like,
You get
Bet you
20
can have
acres.
this entertainment.
you get 3 grains of sand.
So this eventually infuriated Mwanga II. He also then discovered one of those pages, pages being his boys, not like a page, teaching Christianity to his favorite and so far always compliant toy, Muwafi.
What the fuck, bro? Just finished the orgy. Now he's gonna preach Jesus.
Exactly.
With a sore bum.
Get away from him. Don't touch my boy. Fearing the Christian missionaries were turning his courtiers into spies, he decided the only appropriate action was to execute every practicing Christian in his court. All told, it's estimated there were 30 people he executed between January 31st, 1885 and January 27, 1887, including the boys in his harem that refused him.
Now, how did he find Christians?
I mean, because the thing is, I mean, I guess it's like the movie Silence. You guys haven't watched it, but like they'll be going into their houses, and for some reason, because they, you know, old times, you know, they needed a symbol of faith or something, you know, to feel like they were close. They would maybe find like a little makeshift cross in their bed or something, you know, and that would in the movie Silence, which is like, you know, the Japanese history, but they would execute anybody who was found with any like little symbol like
They
that.
just started doing the cross, but they did it backwards, and he's like, "No, you're doing. Oh shit."
Yeah, exactly.
In these
You
times,
sneeze, someone says bless you, like, hey, you.
in these times, you didn't have a lot, so it's like these little things mattered.
Yeah, exactly. So he had these people executed. So 22 of them were burned alive, and would
That's
later
dope.
become known as the Uganda martyrs. Yeah, this is the part where the story is metal. Like,
That story's metal, bro.
yeah.
You know what
So-
though? It's funny because like he's doing horrible things, but for gay rights. So I mean, is it that bad?
No, I don't know. It's because it's a lot more
LGBTQ,
about
let us know.
it's a lot more about his own right
To fuck
to
little
fuck
boys.
his boys. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I'm just trying to fuck my boys.
I'm just trying to play poker and get laid, bro.
Don't,
Yeah,
just don't be
literally,
preaching. I'm trying
yes.
to fuck the homies, bro.
Yeah. They were officially sainted on October 18 of 1964 by Pope Paul VI. So one of them, named Kitsido, was only 14 years old, making him the youngest saint in history.
Ugandan?
That's good, isn't it?
Damn.
Yeah.
Bugandan or Ugandan?
Uganda, because the country's called Uganda, but the kingdom used to be called Buganda.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny because the language is called Luganda.
Shit.
It's a lot of Ganda.
I mean,
here.
they might have a different alphabet.
Yeah.
Just switched it up.
So
Might be Puganda after this.
so all of this was met with
Shut up.
So all of this was met with international outrage at the time and prompted the British Empire.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
boys.
Dun, 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 dun.
Welcome back.
So they prompted the British Empire to back a rebellion to replace Mwanga II with his older brother. Mwanga II was kicked out of his kingdom. His brother was placed on the throne, but quickly replaced again by the British.
Shit, that was fast, bro.
Literally,
British
like-
came in and it just kicked in the door, said, "You're not here anymore."
Ayo,
Yeah.
the British had a lot more guns though.
Yeah, that is very true. And they also owned half of the world.
And some years later, Mwanga II would cut a deal with the British Empire to get his ass back on his throne.
Nice. It was
So
like, guys,
this
I'll
could
show you-
literally all be a movie. It's kind of funny.
He's like, "Guys, I won't fuck my homies if I can just sit on that throne again." Little did you know,
He probably blew the
little did you know, he
king.
just put like a fucking dildo on his throne.
So Mwanga II was baptized and put back in his kingdom in 1889.
That was like the rules he signed up for.
It was like the scene in There
contract.
Will Be Blood.
Oh my God.
It was like, you want to get back on your kingdom, you got to do this. And they're just like slapping him.
I abandoned my child.
I abandoned my boys. But as
That was a great scene, by the way.
a fantastic film. So
all the boys are like knocking at the door every night, or they're just sitting out there with boom boxes. They're like, "When are we coming back in, master?"
we miss playing poker.
Poker and what happened after.
We have 3 seasons of 90 Day Fiance to catch up on.
The wind is blowing on my asshole and it's going. I need to be inside.
I haven't had toilet paper in 3 months.
I need you.
So as time passes on in this new relationship, the British Empire starts forcing Mwanga II to surrender more and more over to them. This eventually reignites beef that has been in the fridge for some years.
Sounds like a regular relationship.
Sounds
Oh,
like any
God.
relationship, basically.
You're like, "Oh, you were this? Oh, let me slowly change you because I can change you."
It's like you let them move into your place and then they just start bringing in like, you know, more plants than you'd like. And then they
that's
start
like-
hanging up art that you wouldn't.
You know what? I don't like that you have maps on the wall. I'm going to take them down.
Fuck maps.
I don't like that you know where you are. You can run away anytime.
So he was captured, tortured, and finally exiled from his kingdom once more. During his exile, the Anglican Church subjected him to a forced baptism. Again, there will be blood style. There he was given the Christian name Danieri, which translates to Daniel.
is so fucked up.
Just like
Daniel?
Daniel Plainview from There Will
They're
Be
like,
Blood.
I know you're not white, but we'll try our best, David.
Like King Mwanga, Mutisa, Kabaka. And, that was terrible. That wasn't his name
Daniel.
whatsoever. I
They'll be
forgot.
King Peter.
But then like, you'll be Daniel. He spent the remainder of his short life in the Seychelles. Did I say that right?
Seychelles?
I suck at that. Seychelles. Thank you, Priscilla. Eternally pissed off about his defeat by the imperialists.
You still have like kind of a harem, or is he just by himself now?
But now it's only girls.
So I'll get on that because there's something interesting about that. So
They're girls and they all have crosses.
So he continued telling his people to keep up the fight against Europeans. This would finally lead him to be starved and tortured to death by British soldiers.
Shit.
In August 1910, Mwanga II's remains were brought home and buried in Kasubi. He was between 34 and 35 years old when he died.
It's like they do like like the British come back, they just do like a 5-year sweep just to make sure that nothing changed.
Bro, by the age of like 35, this man had waged war, like had his own kingdom, waged war with Britain.
20. He was king at 16, so 20 years of just like mayhem.
Yeah.
And banging the fucking boys. I mean, his body count is probably fucking.
It's probably the same people.
Insane. King Mwanga II's story comes up a lot during the debate of LGBTQ rights in Uganda. He's a documented testament to Uganda's long-gone tolerance of homosexuals. But the issue is that it might not all be that accurate. One of the biggest sources on Mwanga II's personal life is a British missionary named Alexander Mackay. Mackay reportedly didn't like Mwanga II in the first place. He preferred his predecessor's more relaxed way of doing things.
So he might have just been chilling and actually playing poker with the boys.
He
and
might
then
have
just
actually
slandered
been
the
like,
shit out of
these
them.
are my husbands, but I literally just play poker with them.
The thing is, so much of history is written by the British or the Romans.
They say,
or-
the winner rewrites the wars. Or,
Yeah, so it's
rewrites
like-
history.
Yes.
It's always plagued like that.
Yeah, so if you win, you say what happened for real.
But you know what? I liked the idea of him being.
Yeah, I'd like to see a
partying with the
movie about
homies.
this. Except in the movie, they'd probably cut out the part where like he murders his boys for not wanting to fuck him. They'd probably make it something else.
Being salty, being like, oh, where?
Yeah.
Am I not good enough for you? I'm royalty.
No, it'll probably be like some plot to betray him. They're like, oh, look, he had to murder all his friends because the British turned him against them.
I mean, literally what happened.
Just because
well,
they said
no,
no one day.
according to the story, also because they didn't want to fuck him.
Yeah.
I believe it more that
They
this,
weren't feeling it
I
that
be-
night, and he's like, no,
I
that's not gonna fly.
believe it more that this guy who became king at 16 years old just got mad that people didn't want to fuck him
And murdered.
and
them.
had the murder.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Possibly.
it just so happens it falls into this as well, So it's a possibility that much of Mwanga II's reported gay episodes were stories made up to slander the king in the eyes of the ever-pious Westerners. The only thing that's really known is that at the time of his final exile, Mwanga II fled with only one of his wives, with whom he spent his final days.
Nice.
So he left with one wife.
Do you have kids?
Probably. But like it was probably like the way his father as well, like just a ton of kids
Yeah.
do everything. So it's not like anything like,
You didn't raise them.
probably not. Yeah.
So maybe
Probably
they
like,
weren't even
his
husbands.
father had 85 wives.
Fuck.
Yeah, like I said that earlier. His father had 85 wives.
Yeah.
He is the son of his father's 10th wife.
Okay.
Yeah. Which I guess it doesn't go by like, hey, if you're the son of the 85th wife, you're going to be king, or the first of 85 wives.
It's
Like you're never
probably-
seeing the kingdom.
No. Damn, you're not touching those grounds anytime
Within the
soon.
first like 4 or 5, they're probably like, all right, are you the most talented and smart? Cool.
Yeah, there's actually an interesting history that like the Aztecs also had that where like if a king would have like make a child with like a slave, that's that baby would have the chances of becoming king. Like he had equal equal rights to like to the other king's offspring,
Yeah.
basically. So if he just happened to be the strongest and smartest one, he could be king. And then eventually that did happen, as the Aztecs had kings that were slaves, that were born slaves at first.
I think the British were the only ones where it's like, nah, you have to be purebred, or you're like, no.
If you're not
Yeah, so
inbred,
that's
we
why
don't
they
like
look
you.
like,
Your teeth are all fucked up.
Yeah, teeth are awful.
oi.
Sorry.
Sorry, no, we like
Definitely
you.
Australian.
It's okay.
Not the French though.
Not the
Fuck the French.
recurring
We're
theme.
from Quebec, that's why.
So, I don't want to flat out deny claims that Mwangatu killed his pages for this reason, but I do think the info should be taken with a grain of salt. The stories of him slaughtering his Christian sex boys because they wouldn't sleep with him is a narrative that also kind of fits all too perfectly. So, it wouldn't be the last time that this sort of tactic was used. So now, I'm going to talk to you about a guy named Scott Lively.
Fuck yes. Let's go, Scott.
When the white man comes in, this
When
is where
the
it
white
gets dark.
man comes in. So I'm displaying a picture of Scott Lively once again. Link in the description for the PowerPoint.
Is a fucking dickhead on the right side of his name?
Yeah, Scott Lively in parenthesis dickhead. Do you guys
What
want
did you describe him as one time?
the picture on the right looks like he's like an inflated, like a swollen Santa Claus. Like if Santa was the villain in a John Carpenter movie and they like started pumping him with air and he's gonna explode soon. Like, that's what he looks like. Or he looks like a garden gnome they let out.
Garden gnome that got a little bit too old
He
for,
got an
for the
office
garden.
job.
I hate the gays. One of homophobia's finest importer-exporters is American born-again Christian activist Scott Lively. Now, Scott would be worthy of getting his own episode on this show if the stories about him weren't as infuriating as they are. So, one of the things about this episode is that the last episode was a little more fun with like Martin Ssempa, eat the poo poo. He's kind of... This one's going to be a little more frustrating. But, you know, let's get into it.
We got a lot of the jokes out of the way, but we're still going to make it happen.
We got this.
Born and raised in Massachusetts, the state that would later be the first to legalize same-sex marriage.
Fuck yeah. Let's go Boston.
Scott had somewhat of a difficult upbringing.
They legalize it and then they create this guy.
Scott says he turned to alcoholism at the age of 12.
Fucking win, dude.
When Scott was 16, his father was committed to a mental institution. After high school, he spent about 10 years traveling across the country as a drifter. He stumbled upon an alcohol treatment facility in Portland, Oregon, where he finally saw the light and became a born-again Christian. Scott came into the public eye as an anti-LGBT activist in the early 1990s for his work with the Oregon Citizens Alliance, OCA for short. So just to give you a sense of the vibe the OCA exudes, here's a write-up from the Southern Poverty Law Center.
We have an Oka here in Montreal.
No, that's not that kind of OCA.
Like these doka.
So here's a write-up from the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center. To support its stance, the OCA and its supporters disseminated inflammatory pamphlets and videos like "The Gay Agenda," which which linked homosexuality to evil sickness and disease. The group took out radio and newspaper ads that often linked homosexuality to pedophilia, and claimed that LGBT people were seeking special rights and that homosexuality is a public health menace.
They had their own like homophobic journal. Like,
Well, this
came
man,
out every week if you want to subscribe to it.
This man was a drifter, so I mean, what did he have to do to get some food around? You know,
Yeah.
You know, when he was like fucking giving thumb around.
you
You know?
have a desperate time. You know,
I mean, listen, that being a drifter for 10 years as a young, like, fucking 16-year-old.
It's like Ssempa being a
17.
breakdancer, bro.
I mean, that might put you in a room with a lot of people who might, I don't know, take advantage of you. That might put you in the... So, like, you know, maybe he might be some sort of victim, but hey, it is not... what happened to you is not your fault, but the way you respond is your responsibility. So, you know, that, you know, very possible
Don't
that
become
Martin
crazy.
Ssempa, you know, like, you know, he was about to make his fucking breakdancing career, and then he walks into a room and he's like, "So you think you can dance?" And then, you know, he's like, "Should dance on this dick. You want to be famous, don't you, boy?" And then,
Scott had that.
oh
one,
no,
Scott had that one
Oh,
like
Lord, Jesus.
gay experience while he was hitchhiking, and then he's like, "You know what? Now I hate him for life because I'm
Yeah.
deflecting."
exactly. So
hitchhiking.
that's very possible. Lively became known as a prominent spokesman for the OCA during its bruising campaigns, and he was earning a reputation for belligerence as well. In a 1991 incident, he allegedly threw lesbian photographer Catherine Stauffer against the wall at a screening of an Oka video and then dragged her out of the room by her hair.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude clearly has some fucking issues. He shouldn't be fucking.
He's the real Daniel Plainview. There will be blood. He literally fucking dragged her.
Insane.
He's like an alcoholic uncle that's just like giving speeches now.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy clearly has lived through something and is dealing with it in a wrong fucking way.
Exactly.
For real.
So she later sued both Lively and the Oka, and the jury ruled that Lively used unreasonable force and awarded Stauffer $30,000.
Good.
30,000.
Yeah, I think you could get some more.
It's a
out
pretty.
of that.
Yeah, for sure. Especially. Well,
So-
it depends on how much he's worth. That means he's broke if they only gave him 30K.
So now I'm displaying a book.
Oh man.
Scott is the author of a book called The Pink Swastika, which tells about how homosexuality was the driving force behind atrocities committed by the Nazis.
What's his source?
What's his sword?
A fuck ton of baloney.
Jesus
9-year-old
Christ.
grandma saying, "Yeah, I saw this."
And I want to comment that, like, Nick always punches on me for like being a stickler for like fonts and stuff like that. But I mean, can you look at the cover of this book and admit
PKSKA.
that this is like garbage?
It's like he
Well,
went on
it
MS Paint
has-
himself.
It has an artistic undertone.
Fuck off.
I really like the lilac.
I really like what he did with the little swastika over here, and he made it like an ass.
He basically homosexuality, and he used the X. He used a
S.
swastika to replace the X. It's so cute. Like, fuck off. Note that this is the 5th edition, and the cover still looks like shit.
The 5th edition.
Yes.
fifth-
Oh, I thought it was original. Like he made this shit himself on paint.
He's got his racist granddaughter to make this
literally.
himself.
Yeah. So
And wait, so these are the original colors, like the Scott Lively in that blue?
yes, that is what the book.
Wow.
The book isn't. I'm not displaying it in negative or anything.
Okay.
And
Exactly what the book
two people wrote this book.
It took 2 people to write this book.
God damn.
Nobody to design the
Well,
cover.
a lot of creativity. Like it's all made up. So
It's one of his
It's just-
buddies he met at a gas station. He's like, I can do Photoshop. Like,
It's
let
just
me make your
two-
book cover.
It's like 2 old men that just like started drinking and writing a book together.
That's about it. Those racist uncles who pull up like, hey, you know the Nazis. You know, most of those guys were gay.
They're in like a
No, I
little
fucking
bushwhack cabin.
So I did not buy the book because I did not want to give them money. But I did listen to an interview where the author himself, Scott Lively, breaks down the book in his own words. He basically goes into like, there was these type of like men in Germany who like were sexually abused as children, and they grew up to be like gay men, but they were like aggressive gay men or whatever. They were like more macho gay men or whatever. He has degrees of gayness, and so one of the degrees is macho gays. That is per his own. Stop looking the book up.
I had to see if it was on Audible. It's not.
He's gonna listen to it tonight just to see if John was telling
I'll
the
send you
truth.
the podcast where he himself breaks down his stupid book. But he basically goes into like, okay, so these men who were sexually abused as children grew up to be macho gay men. They become Nazis eventually. And as Nazis, they want to punish other gay men, the more effeminate gay men. And so that leads to the Holocaust somehow. And it just absolutely makes no fucking sense.
Okay. It sounds like he's telling his own story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
like-
his own road trip story,
Yeah,
but he's
exactly.
like, this
He-
wasn't me, but
he's-
like I know a lot about.
He's an aggressive, manly gay man that just isn't
Exactly.
comfortable with himself.
He listened to that like
Yeah.
that punk music that talks about.
Yeah, so it's weird. So the man has been hard at work spreading the anti-gay word hard.
Hard.
Spreading the anti-gay
Proper
word
phrasing.
globally. He himself claims to be active in over 30 countries. And given his more public track record, that's not as far-fetched of a statement as it sounds. He has worked in Latvia, Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, Belarus, Moldova, Russia, and Ukraine.
I mean, that's all the
worldwide.
same place, kind of.
Yes. Yeah, that's a cheating way to get like 30 countries under
Yeah,
the belt.
it's
Like, bow. Next stop, Africa.
Just go.
It's like
Another
it's like
30
a
countries,
3-day road trip, and you hit them all.
So right now we're going to hear from Scott Lively in Russia. This is like, there's this live stage that he's talking to, and he's got a translator translating for him. Once again, link in description for all that stuff.
There was a situation in Sacramento a few weeks ago.
Несколько недель назад произошел один случай в Сакраменто.
In a public park.
I hate his twerpy voice.
В парке
there was a group of homosexuals.
Была группа гомосексуалистов.
And they were very drunk.
Они были пьяны.
Again, his own story.
One of the homosexual men was taking off his pants.
It's funny because he stayed there and watched it very fucking long.
And there were children in the park.
А там были дети.
And a Russian man went over to these homosexuals.
Тогда русский подошел к этому человеку, гомосексуалисту.
No, it
And he
didn't.
was rebuking them.
И он сказал, начал ругаться с ними.
And there started a fight.
И тогда они начали драться.
And the Russian man punched
И тогда
the homosexual man.
русский ударил гомосексуалиста.
No, don't
laugh.
The man was very drunk. The homosexual
Но
was very drunk.
тот гомосексуалист был пьяным.
He was very drunk.
Он был очень пьяным.
And he fell down.
И он упал.
And he hit his head.
И он ударился головой.
And he died.
И он умер.
And now... No.
Even the guy's laughing.
Нет,
no.
Нет, he's laughing.
The translator's laughing.
Now the Russian man has been accused of murder.
И теперь русского обвиняют в убийстве.
And the FBI is seeking him.
The FBI. Okay, fine.
This is a made-up story. Shut the fuck up.
And all of the powers in Sacramento
Все власти в Сакраменто
have been accusing all of the Russian community
обвиняют всю русскую диаспору
of being murderers.
в том, в убийствах, что они убийцы.
And the
How the
goal
fuck can you get
is
a
to silence
like a wide
everyone who
audience for this?
speaks against homosexuality.
Их цель заключается в том, чтобы закрыть рот всем, кто говорит что-то против гомосексуализма.
And this is a very dangerous situation.
Это очень опасная ситуация.
Because we don't want homosexuals to be killed.
Потому что мы не хотим убивать гомосексуалистов.
We want them to be saved.
Мы хотим, чтобы они спасались.
Amen?
Amen?
This guy has no fucking charisma whatsoever.
No, exactly. That's the word.
Like-
He's no Martin Ssempa, and that's why he can't get his own episode, because he's just a twerp.
Yeah.
Like, so actually, like, homosexuals, they like,
And like, I hate that. It's fucking annoying. That's why he didn't get his own fucking book.
Didn't even get his own
Scott
fucking
Lively.
meme,
Fuck
bro.
Scott Lively. He sucks. He lacks charisma.
Get the
So-
fuck out.
In Uganda,
If you're gonna be homophobic, at least have charisma.
Exactly. Be fun.
yeah.
The fuck?
In Uganda, Lively has worked heavily with his loyal disciple, Stephen Langa. Langa is a kind of also a boring preacher who mostly regurgitates the propaganda of Scott Lively. Like, he would have gotten some clips here, but he's honestly kind of boring. It's the same thing, but monotone.
If you guys want to hear us
Just
fall
repeats
asleep
it
on
again,
the,
you know.
fall asleep on the mic.
In 2009, Stephen Langa and Scott Lively organized a conference in Uganda about the dreaded homosexual agenda. Please look up Jello Biafra, former singer of the Dead Kennedys, saying homosexual agenda. It's the funniest thing ever.
Another video?
Yes, another video, baby. This
We
is
have
him in
10
Uganda
videos
in
of this.
2009. Link in the description for all that.
Oh, what the
We're
fuck?
never going to stop AIDS until you stop treating homosexual sodomy as a civil right and start treating it as a form of conduct to avoid.
We're laughing.
Even everybody thinks it's a joke.
Evangelical minister Scott Lively is an awkward fit on this stage. He's running for governor of Massachusetts, one of America's most liberal states. And he's running on a fiercely anti-gay platform. At this hustings run by a local gay rights group in Boston, his message was widely greeted with derision and ridicule.
Why would we be propping up homosexual relationships instead of encouraging people into healthy,
He
normal
really knows how to
families?
not get elected.
It's completely backwards.
How dare you say that homosexuality and pedophilia are equated? Well, they are equated. They are equated.
But it was very different when he took his anti-gay message to Uganda. Here he was at a conference in 2009, attended by Ugandan lawmakers
I
and
swear
religious
it looks
leaders.
like he's in a senior
The
home.
gay movement is an evil institution. The goal of the gay movement is to defeat the marriage-based society. and replace it with a culture of sexual promiscuity.
His presentation.
That's why they want to get married.
Broadcast on Ugandan
You
television.
think he goes to bed at night and he's like, I fucking killed it today.
The gay movement and its agenda.
This is something that I have invented.
So now he's showing a graph.
It's called the scale of gender normalcy.
He went on to list several categories of gay men.
And I call these, the first category, super machos. These were the Nazis, the ones that helped Hitler come to power at the beginning, the jackbooted thugs. You have what I call monsters. They're serial killers, mass murderers. They're people, they're sociopaths. This is the kind of person that it takes to run a gas chamber, right? Or to do a mass murder, the Rwandan stuff.
Every American, when they're trying to drive a point home, Nazis.
So
it all started with Nazis.
So just there, what he shows is basically this like, it looks like a timeline graph, but it's basically like a weird scale where like if you're all the way to the left, you're super extreme gay. And if you're all the way to the right, I guess you're lighter gay, which I don't know, should be the other side anyways.
You know what he did? He created like a fantasy story where like the gays are bad guys and these are different ranks of like
yeah, exactly.
bad gays.
He's got like this weird ranking system. So the ones he shows in the middle, I'm guessing that would be neutral or something like that. But to the left of the spectrum starts to be what I see there is butches. She means just butch gays, the manlier type of gays or whatever. And then super macho, which he characterizes as the Nazis were the super macho gays. But then he talks about monster gays. And so he says, these are the serial killers.
So all serial killers
and
are
let's see
gay.
if you just hear it real quick. But it's really interesting to me what he says here.
Have what I call monsters. They're serial killers, mass murderers. They're people, they're sociopaths. This is the kind of person that it takes to run a gas chamber, right? Or to do a mass murder, the Rwandan stuff. Probably involve these guys.
The Rwandan stuff, probably.
So yeah, exactly. He says this is the type of people that it takes to run a gas chamber or do a mass murder. The Rwandan stuff, probably. Literally referencing the Rwandan genocide.
At least he did his research on the people he's talking to.
Yeah. He fucking sucks. And, you know, just like you saw in Massachusetts, people kind of like giggling at it and everything like that. Well, it's different in Uganda. You're going to see that. Here, though, he gets interviewed by Channel 4. And I just thought it would be funny to hear his words again. So here we go.
How are you? I met Dr. Lively to ask how he had influenced the law in Uganda.
Lively. The legislation that came out, you know, which evolved from the time that you were going there, has brought in very harsh punishments against homosexuals in Uganda.
Well, I've always
Are you happy about that?
I have mixed feelings about the Ugandan law, right? I support the provisions of the law that increase penalties for homosexual pedophilia. I support the clauses in the law that enhance penalties for intentionally spreading AIDS through sodomy, right? I do not support and never did support the harsh penalties in terms of long prison sentences. I don't believe in that. I never have. I didn't suggest that to them when they brought it up.
But that's a direct consequence.
He's like the workplace snitch.
So you say.
Like 100%.
That's what is why.
Based on propaganda from my adversaries.
So it's pretty inflammatory to link Nazis with gay people, isn't it?
Well, if it's true, do we really?
If it's
do we care
true.
more
if it's
about
true.
If what I just made up was real.
Well, it's people don't have a lot of courage in standing up to the gay bullies, but the facts of history are manifest.
Dr. Lively rejected the idea that he had been responsible for stirring up anti-gay hatred in Uganda.
Give me a name. Give me a name of somebody that's
But I
been driven out.
repeatedly pushed it to account for his most controversial
Not a
comments,
single person.
such as labeling some gays as monsters and linking gays both to the Nazis and the Rwandan genocide.
You then directly linked it to a neighboring country of Uganda, where they had a genocide, and you said it's probably involved these guys, talking about gays, in Rwanda. You started suggesting the Rwandan
Did you watch
genocide.
the whole?
I'm looking at it now. This is you here now.
Did you watch the whole?
I'm watching the clips. This is you.
If you watch the whole segment, you find out that when I'm talking about the monsters, I'm saying that's an extremely small number of people.
No, it's very
Yeah,
generalized.
you're referring to gay people as
he didn't
monsters,
say that.
as super macho.
Some of them are.
You say, you're saying they're
Some of them
bestial,
are.
they're animalistic.
Some of them are.
He's looking
You know,
right
the
through
president
him.
of your country is wholeheartedly against this legislation.
Obama?
He's condemned it. He's condemned it. But you're a citizen of this country and you're going there to influence what's
I think Mr. Obama may well be a homosexual himself. He's certainly a radical homosexualist, meaning a person, whether homosexual or not, who is 100% invested in the homosexual.
So you think President Obama is a homosexual?
I think he may be. He is lending the weight of his office to a movement that's goal is to overturn the Judeo-Christian sexual ethic and replace it with the gay ethic of sexual anarchy.
I love me some sexual anarchy.
Again, just a fucking nerd.
Loser.
Fuck this nerd. And there you go. Once again, looks crazy until what I'm going to show you is Ugandans recounting Scott Lively's message right after that 2009 conference. So we're going to see, what we're going to see is a couple of people, Ugandans, just giving their testimonies of what they're, I don't even know what this is for. It's like, I guess, what did you learn today? And he has people stepping up. And the man in the video is Stephen Langa, by the way. The man like bringing these people up and asking them questions. So here we are. We're going to go on with this.
The man of God told us about the
man of God told us, by the way.
And to say there is a movement that is behind the promotion of homosexuality, and it's called gay movement. So it told us that it's more serious than we have ever thought. For me, I had never heard of that, but then I got to know that there is a force that is behind homosexuality, which we need to attack also with the force. So,
like Star Wars.
The force of the homosexuality.
He's the dark side.
The midichlorian.
He's got CDs.
Oh, no fucking way.
It's almost easy for them to spread.
He's trying to make that money.
I kind of want a Scott Lively CD if I don't have to pay for it.
You gotta go to
At a
Uganda.
garage sale or something?
Yeah.
When you refuse to give them your house, they will say you have discriminated against them. They will go and sue you.
Right now in Brazil, in fact, Dr.
That's Stephen Langa.
I was in Brazil, by the way, twice last year.
What are you doing in Brazil,
And I
boy?
found out that in Brazil,
They stole my wallet.
This thing is
Strippers
so
stole
right.
my wallet.
that, they were passing a law, and I'm not sure that they've actually passed it, they probably have or not. They proposed a law that if you say anything against homosexuality, you go in jail for 4.5 years.
That is not fucking
That's
true.
fucking quite the opposite.
People in Brazil are very anti-homo, are very anti-gay.
Was leaving Brazil last week to relocate to Colombia because they're about to arrest him because he's standing against gay people. So it's not a joke. These guys can take over power, world power. In the UN right now, most of the committees, most of the leadership is actually gay.
I literally know Brazilians in Australia that left Brazil to be like freely gay in Australia. So that's a load of crap.
That's a load of baloney. As I mentioned in part 1, 2009 saw the rise of the anti-homosexuality bill. Under this bill, you could be sentenced to life in prison for being gay and up to 7 years in prison for trying to help anyone who's gay, and finally, the death penalty for committing what they call aggravated homosexuality. The bill teeter-totters between being in consideration to not to being back on. It ends up not passing in 2009. Like it goes back and forth between like 2009 all the way to 2010, and it ends up not passing for a while because they're afraid of having their foreign aid taken away. You know, a bunch of nations just threaten to like, no, we're not going to help you out with this. You know,
money really talks. Holy shit.
It do be talking. So Pepe Julian Onzima is a human rights activist in Uganda. He's the program director for SMUG, which stands for Sexual Minorities Uganda. For years, Onzima has been championing LGBT+ rights in Uganda and challenging a lot of the legislation. Here's what Pepe had to say about Lang and Lively's Gay Agenda Conference from 2009. So here's Pepe Julian Onzima talking to Mariana Van Zeller, the journalist from the Vanguard documentary, about the 2009 Scott Lively conference.
When did things actually start getting worse?
After the evangelicals came here.
After the March 2009 conference.
Exactly. The conference basically introduced the idea that homosexuals, the agenda is to recruit children into homosexuality.
So before this conference, this concept didn't really exist in Uganda?
No. We look up to Americans. So if they come here and say things like that, we're definitely going to believe them, you know? And that is what happened exactly.
Yikes.
Basically, that seminar changed lots of people's minds and hearts because it went on, and then the bill was born.
Yeah, they're taking notes.
Little did they know, we
Proposed
laughed at him.
legislation would outlaw groups like SMUG or any organization that serves the gay community. Even this meeting I'm having with Pepe would be considered illegal if the bill passed. While the law is still pending, the intimidation has already begun.
So what you see at the end here is Pepe's name, face, residence, and known places to frequent being outed on the front page of the Red Pepper.
Oh no.
A local newspaper in a country where it could mean violence or even death to be outed as gay. The Red Pepper didn't get these names out of nowhere. They got them from none other than Martin Ssempa.
Jeez. Great picture, by the way.
Yeah. I think I've deprived us enough of this man's poo-poo antics, so let's dive back into it.
Martin Ssempa.
If the name Pepe Julian Onziema sounds a little familiar, it wouldn't be a coincidence. In 2012, a morning show for NBS TV called The Morning Breeze interviewed Pepe Julian Onziema. I am, of course, talking about the now famous Why Are You Gay interview. One of the subjects that comes up a lot in this interview is the case of soccer manager named Chris Mubiru, who in 2009 was accused of having sodomized the 17-year-old boy.
Hello and welcome back. This is the topical discussion on the Morning Breeze on NBS Television. My name is Simon Kagwanjala, and we're also weighing in on the raging debate on homosexuality in Uganda, which is taking another twist today.
So here we see Simon, the host, interviewing
is indeed becoming a safe
Julian Pepe Onziema
for homosexuals. President Museveni on Sunday, while attending the inauguration of the new Archbishop of the Church of Uganda at Namirembe Cathedral, insisted that, well, he had no problem with homosexuals.
By the way, everybody, Pepe is trans. So at this point, he's,
is also awash with stories of soccer.
He's one of the boys.
Yeah.
Molesting kids.
So that interview before, it was pre-transition. Now he's in transition or post-transition.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr? Pepe Julian Onziema. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for
Good morning.
He's very polite, at least.
Why are you gay?
Yeah, up until that.
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay. You are a transgender.
What shows that I'm gay?
You are a transgender, and you're a gay rights activist and an outspoken lesbian, homosexual. How can I describe you?
He's actually curious.
I think he actually is curious.
I am Pepe Julian Onziema.
And Pepe's just like, fuck.
An LGBTI
What's that?
activist. I'm a human rights defender. I'll get to what it is. I'm a human rights defender.
Already, like that is the one thing I do kind of sense is that I think he is just like an old guy who does not fucking understand it, but he's trying to.
Yeah.
He's like, what do I call you? Like, I don't know.
What do I call
you? Gay,
like, what is that?
You're a man. I don't know.
We're
But
gonna
at least
jump a
he
little
started it very polite. At least he said the Mister. Most people that are like how do you
Even
say?
nowadays, people are like, "Oh, well, could choose."
Yeah, I refuse to call you Mister.
And he goes like, "Should I call you Mister?" And that could come off as like he's being a dick.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Something kind of feels to me like he's just really not sure.
Yeah. Because this might easily be the first time he's confronted with this in real life.
Yeah. We're gonna play a few seconds more here. So let's go with it. This is further down the line.
So as we stand today, are you dating any female?
Yes, I am.
You have a girlfriend?
Yes, I do.
While in transition, you're having a girlfriend?
Yes.
Do you perform the natural obligations?
I'm not sexually active right now.
So what are
By
you doing with
choice.
this lady?
By choice.
By choice?
Yeah. I've just...
They hold hands.
I've chosen not to engage.
Doesn't that make you gay?
Fucking hell.
What?
What do you mean doesn't that make me gay? I am male and attracted to a female.
So who is gay?
He's just.
I described
He
a
just
gay
doesn't
person.
know. He's just genuinely confused.
Is she gay? Are you gay?
Are you gay?
It's like trying to explain it to my grandfather or something.
I just really like if I'm just gonna reiterate what I said, I just like the idea that when Pepe just said, oh, you know what, like I'm not sexually active now, and that's when the guy's just like, so are you sure you're a guy then? Doesn't that just make you a lesbian?
Why are you gay?
Yeah.
Are you gay?
Those are tidbits. Those are the tidbits that we most commonly associate with having become memes. You know, like it's a meme that is blown up where mere frames of the Morning Breeze's host Simon looking at the camera can conjure up the famous "Why are you gay?" line in one's head. You know, like I'm literally somebody who, like, if somebody pisses me off, I'll just send them a frame.
He sent that to us many times.
I just literally send a frame of him staring directly at us. But something that's a little lesser known about this interview is that it features a special guest, one we all know too well at this point, Pastor Martin Ssempa.
Let's go.
So this is 17 minutes into the interview. Simon and Pepe are on their own during this interview, and they call Martin Ssempa to get his opinion, basically an opposing opinion here.
Feels like he tipped the journalist. He's like, just call me, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care where I am, call me.
Should homosexuals be given attention in Uganda? Before we proceed with Pepe Julian Onzima, a sexual minorities activist, would that be appropriate? Human rights
fuck's
defender.
sake, it's the 10th
well,
time
we have
he says.
Pastor Ssempa online, an anti-gay activist, to tell us his side of the story. Hello, Pastor.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Good to have you online. How are you today?
I am doing well. First, I'm really extremely distressed that we are not having the anti-sodomy bill passed in Parliament. We have been promised that it will be passed by Christmas. Second, we are under tremendous attacks. People who are funding these groups, such as this daughter of ours, Pepe, and so much money is being powered into the country.
Pepe is a man.
Gotta give it to Simon, defending Pepe.
Is a young
Respect.
woman who is suffering from gender identity disorder. She is a girl who has been misled and confused to think she's a man. And so you can see the way she's dressing, the way she's coming across, is trying to be a man. But you know, Pepe, for me as a psychologist, I know that there are people, we have so many young girls who suffer from this. It is a disorder, and some of these people, they press their breasts, or they go and get their breasts cut off, they cut their hair. Then you end up with a pretty-looking young lady who is acting like a man. So what they need, these are people who are suffering from mental disorder. They need psychological, psychiatrical, and spiritual help. And the department, Butabika, for people like this one, so that they can be helped to come out of their madness.
Pastor.
Yes.
Why don't you sympathize with such people who do not opt, but who are naturally, according to Onzima, he feels it's a natural calling for them to be men, or for him to be what he is now?
There is nothing natural about using both.
Gotta give it to Simon.
And
sticking it up.
He's a real G.
There is nothing natural about putting a man's genital inside another man's excretory system. There is nothing
once again
natural
with that
about
shit.
Onzima be denying us a chance to have children and grandchildren. There is nothing natural at all about sodomy. It is a genocide. And when you add sodomy to HIV, you come up with a black genocide of Africans. There is nothing natural. This is a boy, this is a girl trying to act
He can't even stay with his own bullshit. He's like, this is a boy, I mean a girl.
You know, using cucumbers, we have many of our girls in schools. Pastor, urinary system.
He just cannot shut the fuck up, too. He's hijacked the interview.
Because they have done
He's so used to having the
they have done. If you check this girl on Zima, when you check her, she may be suffering from the same issues. I have been in Mulago all this time. I have young boys who are wearing diapers, but you know, because they wear these nice clothes.
Yeah,
What the fuck? I
have little boys wearing diapers.
Little boys are wearing diapers. Okay.
Somebody get them pasta already.
You to stay online, then we hear from Onzima. Onzima, could you react to Pastor Ssempa?
No, I
He
will
sounds
not.
very abrasive.
I will not. I choose not to react.
Fucking
and give
poor Pepe, man. Poor
Ssempa
Pepe, get the
audience.
fuck out of
I'm
there.
not going to react to what he said.
He's literally on the highway.
Yes. Keep note of that.
He's getting honked at.
Keep note of that.
This is a young woman who is confused to think that she's a boy.
He just cut somebody off. Like
He's literally on at the. Now he's shouting in Luganda, so you can stop it now. Yeah. So he starts shouting in Luganda at some point, which unfortunately we can't really like. I mean, I could find someone to translate it, but it wouldn't be accurate and whatever. You know, it'd take a long time. We don't have the budget on the show for that. Breaks into Luganda, and I just want everybody to note that Ssempa is on the phone here and not in the studio. But even over the phone, he just cannot shut the fuck up. Like, he loves talking. The host, Simon, desperately tries to seize back the platform on this interview, but ends up sidelined by Ssempa. And around the 40-minute mark of the interview, there's a noise in the background. Host Simon looks at the crew with a surprised face before resuming his interview. Now, if you have a good set of ears, you might have been able to hear traffic noises underneath Sempa's voice during the phone call. That's because Ssempa was literally on his way to the studio, and he's about to storm into the interview on live television, armed with a bag of dick-shaped vegetables. Link in the description, go to the PowerPoint, see the video for yourself, because it's something magical. Go to the minute 40, like 40 on the dot. Look at Simon's face. There's a noise in the background. And Simon just has a few moments to be like, what the fuck's going on? And then Martin Ssempa just barges in. So we're going to see that right now. And here we go.
Just because I'm a gay person, I should not wear a nice suit. I should not wear things that I desire.
Yeah, because society doesn't approve of whatever you're doing at the moment.
What do you mean? So I shouldn't be dressed?
There you go. See his
because
face?
of that?
He looks so surprised.
He's like, looks away. Wait, what?
Legally, is there any legal justification?
And in comes Martin Ssempa.
How'd they already have a chair
I'm
pulled
a
up?
human rights defender. And
He put the Bible right there.
I see Pastor Ssempa has come here. When I agreed to come to this show, I spoke to you.
I'm sorry, it's just
He cannot just storm in. So if he storms in, I
Homie,
storm out.
like,
Thanks for
went to
your
the
time.
grocery store,
I
had to
cannot go
explain
on.
all of
Do
this,
you recognize these things?
and claims he's
I'm
not
sorry,
gay.
can you give me a minute?
Pepe, do you recognize some of these things here? These are some of the things they use. I want to give you evidence. You see,
Pastor, aren't you being too
So
hard?
he's showing Pepe a cucumber and a banana.
What evidence from a garden?
About the pain they go through.
He's pulling out more and more fruits. Poor Simon.
njagala olabe ebintu bino obiraba bino.
So now he's rambling.
Ebintu bino ze carrot ze bakozesa.
Once, please calm
Bakozesa
down.
carrot zino ne befu oyo omuwala
So he's explaining all the fruits and what they do with them.
She thinks she's a man, but she does not have the equipment to be a man. So what do?
He's holding all the fruits at the same time.
To be able to try and penetrate the other person, they use carrots, bakozesa carrot. Ochera bakozesa amatoke.
He's listing the fruits now.
No. Bakozesa
They got toys now. They got technologies.
bakozesa bino bichukamba.
Bino bichukamba.
Nze mbadde mulago. I am a counselor. For many years I counsel people like her. When I counsel them, I discover that they
He
have
says
problems.
counselor, by the way. I'm a
Some
counselor.
of the problems is when you use something like this.
Talking about the
when you use
fruits.
something like this and you put it inside you, you rip your urinary tract areas. When they put it inside, they're behind. Ngabolaba Chris Mubiru.
There you go. You mentioned Chris Mubiru.
Yeah, but this is a disorder, right? If it's a disorder,
yes.
Do you feel you're handling it the right way?
Yes.
Or you're being too aggressive, too harsh on them?
No. You see, first of all, we have the good Bible that tells us,
God.
even the Quran,
tells us that this is an evil.
Man, I didn't want to interview
So he
him.
breaks into more Uganda here. Any thoughts on his barging in?
I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. And any good host would have been like, please fucking leave.
Yeah, and any like good PA would have stopped him from even touching that
Fucking
chair,
tackle
and
him.
let alone place a chair for him to sit down in.
Yeah, because there's a chair. There's a chair there.
There's a chair. There's a third chair, and he's like, "You're not supposed to
Pepe,
be
you should
here."
have seen this coming. There was a third chair in the room.
For real.
Oh man,
I just want to see the conversation he had with the clerk. I want that's probably why he was late to storming in. Like he's 40 minutes
he's at
in,
the
'cause
supermarket
he was
grabbing
25 minutes. He was explaining to the clerk why this is bad, but I am buying it to prove a point.
The clerk seeing him line up with like a bunch of dick-shaped fruits, and then he be like, I should call the police. This man is gay.
I listened to your speech about this.
Martin Ssempa gets caught buying phallic vegetables. We're going to push on in this video because there's still some more. So right now, literally, actually, we can stop.
Oh my God, I'm
That would be so funny. If he
Pepe
gets pulled over
eventually
with those.
does come back to face Martin Ssempa, and so here's how that goes.
How funny would it be if he gets pulled over with all these on his fucking on his passenger side?
What makes him...
I'm glad Pepe is back.
I'm glad she has got...
Can you
courage.
shake hands before we proceed?
Of course. How are you, Pepe?
They shake hands.
The fakest shit
And
I've
he
seen.
stands up. He's
No. Kamusabire forward.
Pastor, let's maintain civility on the show. Let's maintain civility. Let's maintain civility. Pastor Ssempa argues that these are the instruments you use.
These are vegetables.
Yes.
I eat this
Yes.
on my plate.
You eat them on your plate.
Yes.
You don't use them when you're having carnal knowledge.
Absolutely no. And
Belittles the
Ssempa
host,
should
belittles
stop
the
misinforming the public.
the guest.
Kachonalimba. Me, I'm a counselor. I've cancelled many of these. First of all, they start in secondary school.
Why don't you start with counseling other than being confrontational?
Counseling
No,
again.
this is
this young man.
This one is an evangelist. This is a missionary of sodomy.
He continues in Luganda again. But there are people who don't speak Luganda. So like there's points in this interview where Pepe's like, please translate what he just said to me because he rambled on for like 5 minutes in Luganda. So we continue on a little further down where he comes back to English and we can understand it. Yeah.
Let me give him a chance to respond. Pepe.
By the way, he's eating the vegetables now. Martin Ssempa is now eating the fucking cucumber.
Homosexuality in Uganda.
He's like mouthful.
What's your reaction?
Eating it.
It is not true. He claims I have a lot of money, I'm wearing fancy clothes, and all that stuff.
Fucking dickhead, stop eating.
The amount of money he thinks. I do not even
From the minute he walks in, he's just rude.
A month or even annually. I do not make the money that he thinks that we make. I'm talking
Just a second.
talking about promotion of homosexuality, recruitment and all those things. They do not exist. It's just the pastors and his group, their propaganda.
Do you
just
believe,
to stop debate like this.
Yes. Do you believe that there's been sexual abuse in this country propagated by yourselves as human rights promoters? This guy does human rights promoters.
Whoa. Yeah, he flashes Chris Mubito again.
Do you believe that there's been
The soccer manager who allegedly abused the kid. He's using one case.
Towards underage children and towards the
Propagated
vulnerable.
by my work.
Yes.
There is no such thing.
What's your work? What's your work? What does your work entail?
It entails advocacy around sexual orientation and gender identity.
See, the thing about this interview is that it's funny at first and then it gets more and more frustrating.
It's frustrating because the other side is literally making shit up.
Exactly.
And we all know since the beginning, the whole eating the poo-poo and all this crap, it's not real. And then people will use a vegetable when they're like young and don't have the money to buy a dildo.
Yeah.
But no one really does that shit.
But also, if you know that you're completely based on fact, you would let the other side talk because you know how right you are. You know,
Martin Ssempa is now playing with the fruits again.
From the start, he just goes straight into what he believes, and he doesn't let anybody talk because he's like trying to do a speech.
Well, it's like he just starts talking about like, I see children with a diaper. What does that have anything to do with what he said? thing is, if he keeps speaking and no one interrupts him, then whatever he says is right.
Because
he'll be the loudest person in the room.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but then like, yes, if you have your point, whatever, you don't believe in it, it is what it is. But like, you're still sitting across from a human that is also trying to argue their point. So let them try to argue their point. If you know that you're right, then bring your facts in.
But he's not right.
Exactly, he's not right. But if he thinks that he's right, then he should have no problem refuting it with facts. You know, it's a debate.
I just find it funny that like they do bring up that one instance where, again, it's alleged, and even if it was true, like the easiest thing Pepe could say is just like, well, what about all the other rapes that happen?
Yeah.
That are like either a male on a young girl, or, well, because I read up in Uganda, unfortunately they don't consider younger males be able, like, rape victims. So if they are propagated by women, like, they don't get considered rape victims. But the thing is just like, well, the other things, like, what is that? Just like a normal heterosexual relationship, even though that's still legally pedophilia in your laws. Like, what does that mean now? Like, it's just ridiculous.
Which would be aggravated homosexuality.
Yeah, it's a little of that. We're gonna continue it a little bit. Martin Ssempa now starts. He picks up the banana and a cucumber again. And he just continues his stupid rant. So we're just you can play that.
I do not need. Okay, Sebo, let me help you, sir.
I do not. So he's holding both a banana and a cucumber.
Everyone. No, it's a she. You see, this one is a banana.
Don't abuse someone's sex.
I know her.
This gentleman is a transgender.
No, she's a female. There are no two. It is either male or female. Let me first tell you, sodomy is about confusion. Now, I want to bring you to speed.
I'm sick of this guy. Yeah.
This person is confused, and she's exporting her confusion.
He's just like, I threw a sodomy, and now it's confused.
I've given you a chance. You see, a banana is different from a cucumber. A carrot is different from a banana. I want you to understand.
Using the fucking
you
classic,
cannot equate. No, these are not equal. So for you to say we are advocating for everyone's right.
It's just
when
now
you are
noise
a sodomite,
at this point.
you are committing a crime. And a crime that makes...
So I got one last bit I want to show you guys from this interview, because there's something interesting he says.
This is an hour?
Yeah, I listened to this like twice.
Fuck.
Yeah. And then a third time just timestamp everything. A lot of it is yelling.
The things that I used to do that.
The
I was
cause
outraged.
for this show was to discuss the pros and cons of this kind of advocacy. Today, rather recently, we had President Museveni.
He picks them up again.
He picks them up. He picks his fruits up like they're his toys.
Not recruit or promote. What do you make of the president?
You see, the president is being pressurized. Me, for 3 years, they have opened court cases against me. They have spoken evil against me. They have
we do not have a court case against
They threaten death. I've received death threats. Americans want to bomb me. When you are alone, they harass you. So President Museveni has been harassed.
You can stop this. You can stop
this bullshit.
He's like, Americans are trying to bomb me.
Get the fuck
If
out
they
of here.
wanted to, they could have done it.
They have court cases against me. Yeah.
And Pepe is just like, no one has a court case.
No one has a court case. So Ssempa's claims that the US is trying to bomb him are dubious at best. But he's not entirely wrong about there being cases against him. He's only wrong about whose fault it actually is. It's his own. In 2012, right around the time of this interview, Pastor Ssempa was found guilty alongside 4 other pastors, a businesswoman, and a musician for conspiring to falsely accuse another pastor, Robert Kayanja, of having sex with some of the men in his congregation.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he's setting up.
They're pulling schemes here. Solomon Malay, one of the other pastors involved here, is a meme unto himself. He would have gotten his own episode as well, but fuck, we just didn't have enough time and I couldn't do 3 parts for this shit. He's a former Muslim turned radical preacher, like the ones we've been discussing thus far. Oh yeah, but yeah. So here is Solomon Malay. He's talking with Scott Mills, journalist for BBC. So get to hear this interview. Just get a little taste of what he's like as well. Equally funny. Just dumb as shit.
I just want one homosexual, brilliant enough, in Britain, or America or the whole world to come and face me. We face off each other. And he tells me when he started realizing that he was actually gay. Because they are lying.
What?
I believe
What?
that I was born gay.
Are you a gay?
Are you a gay?
You are gay.
They all say it the same way.
He's trying to get the violence.
Since as far as I can remember.
Now, tell me this. Have you ever had any woman?
No.
How many men have you had?
How many men? Oh, I couldn't count.
The smile.
You've had many. More than 10?
Yeah.
More than 20?
Yeah.
15?
Right. Yeah, my boy.
So you don't love?
Yeah. I haven't had as many as I told you, by the way. Yeah, go on.
You don't love?
I do love.
So it's ganging?
I do love.
It's reckless?
It's not like I've been philandering myself everywhere and carousing.
One comes, another comes,
no,
another
it's not
comes.
Like that.
Do you see? It's
It's
reckless.
not like that.
Scott,
straight relationships work out, gay
Just-
relationships work out, or they don't.
You put it into your heart, into your mind that I think, and now you believe it. You've got to say that to deceive other people because you want so many people to come to your ranks.
I don't want anyone to
Your
come to my
ranks?
ranks.
Yes. No,
I'm not
no.
recruiting people. It's just the way I am.
This fucking poor guy.
Look, don't fool the world.
I'm not
And
fooling
don't
the world.
fool Ugandans.
Oh my God.
My brother, my son.
Oh my God.
Okay? Okay? You were not born a gay.
Okay.
You were born a man
Yes,
with
I
a
was.
penis.
Yes, that's right.
Okay? And with an anus.
Yes,
The
I believe
anus
so.
was for defecation and the penis was for
Oh my
urination.
God.
Okay, yeah, we've been
and
through
of
this.
course,
Can we
So
agree
you
to
can't have
disagree on
sex
this?
with your penis?
you cannot
No.
convince me.
That's
This is for
clear.
urination.
Well, it's been.
He says you cannot convince me. Like he wants to be convinced,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you can't even say basic things to him. He's not listening.
It's been good to have this healthy debate with you today. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, you're a homosexual. We've met. Have I killed you?
Not yet, no. Are you going to now?
No.
So we're gonna show another one. He is now talking with another journalist, Stephen Fry. So let's go with this.
God bless.
This is great. This is hilarious.
So, how did you think that went?
To me, it was fine.
Yeah.
Nothing bad is talked about homosexuality. Very little. But the bulk of it talks about erotic experience when you indulge in anal sex. But when you start talking to them, you hear very, very sad, painful stories. Young girls who have had what I call urinary incontinence.
Yes.
Bladders have been damaged because they use all sorts of gadgets, including
There's a bunch of other
dildos,
people in the
including
studio
carrots.
who you'll see
And
later
look
start
at
laughing.
The penis penetrating the anus, where it was never meant to penetrate.
But why are you concentrating on homosexuals there? Because most sodomy, most anal intercourse takes place between men and women.
It doesn't matter. Homosexuality.
It does
It does kind of matter.
It is
So
the
when
act.
it's
There's nothing like someone was born a gay, someone was born a lesbian.
But I was born
You were
different.
born with a penis.
Yes.
And a woman is born with a vagina.
Yes.
The penis is supposed to penetrate the vagina, not the anus.
So you say?
It's simply perversion
I
and
don't know why
foolishness.
you're obsessed with anuses. I'm not
No,
interested in anuses.
no. I am telling you, Fry. Eh?
But you're obsessed with
You see,
anuses.
when
I'm
you
not
say
interested
that-
in anuses. I'm interested in men I fall in love with.
When
and
you
not
say-
with anuses. Can't you understand?
No,
It's about love.
No.
You are so
It's
base and
not
materialistic.
love. But when your
It
penis
love.
is sterilizing
My
someone-
penis isn't. My penis doesn't do that.
Rupturing
I'm
the
not
anus.
interested in sodomy and buggery. I am not interested.
No.
So forget about it.
Fry,
You're just
Fry,
so perverted.
Fry.
All you care about is penises and vaginas and anuses.
Can you listen
You're
to
so
me?
sick.
no, can you listen to him?
Yeah.
You're fucking
Listen. Yeah.
You say you were born.
Yeah.
Were you able to recognize that on the day you were born?
Of course I didn't. That's a joke.
Now, why are you lying that you were born gay?
I wasn't. Oh,
When did you first have homosexuality intercourse?
I've never had it.
In your life?
Never.
You've
Most
never.
gays don't. You're obsessed with it. That's what I keep telling you. All you can think of is anal sex.
So you've
I'm not
never,
interested in
wait,
it.
wait. You've never had a partner?
Yes. But we use fellatio and mutual masturbation and intercrural sex, such as the Greeks did, but not penetrating the arsehole.
no, but-
You're the one who's obsessed with penetrating the arsehole. No. Your obsession with sodomy, it says something very peculiar about you, if I may say so.
Yo, he's just
Quite
turning it on.
extraordinary.
No, but...
The most peculiar thing
You are not using your penis the way you should have used it.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, so now he's saying to do it.
Everybody in the studio is laughing.
Under the cloak of caring, you have designated homosexuality to be a vicious, perverted disease that causes all kinds of bizarre anal and vaginal and penile.
No.
You know, you have
homosexuality is not a
about.
disease. It's not a disease.
Well,
it's an addiction. There's a difference
Oh
between a
my
disease.
God. Everybody's laughing too in the studio.
Everybody knows
Like,
how
they're just
dumb
laughing
he
in the
sounds
corner.
right now.
This is one thing I love about Fry is that he's a smart guy and doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and he will talk over you. Like the other ones, they're just like, oh my God, I don't give a fuck that much. But he's just like, you're an idiot. Let me tell you why you're an idiot.
Yes.
And he's just like, he doesn't let him, because what his main tactic is, and also Ssempa, is you smash the person down and you like put your ideas over theirs. And then after that, you're technically right.
And it's like you're so dumb that you're so confident that what you're saying is fact.
Yeah.
And they just shout it so loudly and repeat the same thing over
He
and
watched
over.
2 Senpai interviews and he's like, my turn.
It's funny because it's like, I don't know. Malay is like the cute old man, dumbass like version of Ssempa. Well, Sempa's like an annoying uncle. Yeah, exactly.
He's
like
got paid way too much.
Yeah.
He
And then
looks
this
like
is
he
like
had
the
money.
little old man, like, yeah, I'm still racist. I still hate the gays. Like, what? But I gotta love those moments where he's like, "You're the one who's obsessed with it." And please watch the videos. The script, link in the description.
He starts smiling and stops.
He's just
talking.
like, "Am I the problem?" Like he looks like he's actually
He
conflicted.
couldn't believe that Don Fry never had anal sex.
Yeah,
That's why Ssempa set him up.
Most gays don't have anal sex.
Yeah, I would assume so. So Malay is one of the pastors involved in this blackmailing case. Let's talk about this incident real quick. And you know, not all the sources were super great. A lot of them are Ugandan papers that sometimes have biases and stuff like that. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But this is what I could find that basically I could cross-reference with other articles. This is what they all like kind of said in common. So the ordeal took place in 2009. Pastor Robert Kayanja's personal aide, Chris Mwangi, was allegedly kidnapped by armed men who tortured him for 5 days and ultimately tried to force him into making a video claiming that Pastor Kayanja was molesting young boys. An investigation into this matter eventually led to Solomon Malay and Martin Ssempa being linked to, setting up that kidnapping. Malay and Ssempa would also later be accused of hiring a guy named Robson Matovu to claim that he was also abused by Kayanja. Pastor Malay reportedly gave Mr. Matovu a signed and stamped affidavit implicating Pastor Kayanja, while Samson Mukisa, another guy, was reportedly promised necessities on condition that he would speak publicly on how Pastor Kayanja had sodomized him.
Necessities? What are we talking about here?
A laptop.
Oh, shit.
I don't know.
Nick.
It will give you a laptop. In Africa, laptops are king.
What kind of laptop, though?
MacBook Pro.
Toshiba.
I do a lot for a MacBook Pro. So, Matovu was later medically examined and showed no evidence of anal penetration. That is when Matovu came clean and admitted to having been part of a conspiracy to tarnish Pastor Kayanja's reputation. So all 6 conspirators were caught red-handed. And you might be thinking it's like the end of Goodfellas or Wolf of Wall Street. The boys had their fun, but the boys got caught in the end. And the fun is now over for them. The nightmare is finally over. Let me remind you that this was back in 2009. In 2012, a judge gave all 6 of these guys 2 options. Either they spend 6 months in prison or 100 hours of community service and a fine of 1 million shillings, which is $390 US.
Oh my God. Jeez.
Naturally, they all took community service and a fine. So here's some videos of these guys going through community service. First one up is Martin Ssempa. He's doing community service at like at a hospital. So let's see this. Oh, and note that the funniest thing about this is that fucking Ssempa, I hate the vanity, but he's wearing his pastor robes as he's doing all of this shit. So you just see him running around looking like a wizard.
Poor people working at the hospital.
This is the casualty department at Mulago Hospital, where renowned pastor and evangelist Martin Ssempa is currently serving his sentence of 100 hours of community service.
The journey has been hard to arrive here. We've gone through what we've seen as incompetence of the law enforcement, investigation, the judiciary.
They got you, boy.
They're calling it bullshit.
At the mercy of such an issue.
I love it because they told fucking get back to work.
And
he
it's a
has to
busy
walk
day
away
for the
from the
pastor.
fucking interview.
Among Pastor Ssempa's duties
In his
is
stupid
to
robes.
receive casualty patients upon arrival, assist them with getting onto the wheelchairs, and then he rushes them to the available doctors for medical aid.
He's probably giving us breakdance videos.
He says, I used to be a breakdancer. You want to see my videos?
With some of the patients, you get to know their issue and then you also pray with them. We have a young man from Kawala. He was knocked this morning,
back.
Duncan. His head is gashed. I had to take him into surgery so he can be helped. You know, when you get to know
I'm
what is
such a
your
good
name,
person.
how old are you, where is your home, what is your condition, those are the first information that you get to know about a person.
Wow, if only you could do that with gay people.
I know.
I'm sorry, he said I had to take him to surgery, like he's the surgeon. He's like, oh, I had to help him out.
Although the pastor is not happy about the way he came here, he still insists that he finds pleasure doing this work and that he might even ask for an extended stay. The circumstances of my coming were characterized by injustice, brutality, impunity, and a denial of our constitutional rights.
Fuck off.
But the experience of us working in community service is a good experience. In fact, even for me, when I finish my 100 hours, I will add on another 100.
No,
he's not. No, he's not. Fuck off.
Nope.
Bullshit.
I will add on another 100.
Liar.
And the next one we're going to see is Solomon Malay doing his community service.
Oh, I want to
Look
see
at the
this
thumbnail. He
most.
looks so sad.
What did he
Man's
choose?
depressed.
I actually can't tell. He looks like he's like some sort of I don't know. He's like
He's a parking. He does parking meters.
I don't know what it is. It's some sort of booth or
Do
something
you
that
get
he's
to
running.
choose?
I know. Normally you don't.
No, okay.
But I
Normally
feel
you
like
don't.
Ssempa slipped a couple hundreds. You know, so- I'll be in the church. I have to talk to people.
I would. Yeah, like fuck.
Couple
But I
thousand
think I
shillings.
feel like Malay slipped 100. He's just sitting in a booth.
Yeah, but he's
He
doing
probably
like
said he was too old to do like manual labor or something.
he's doing like fucking parking, bro. Like
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, so let's play this one.
The person would have assisted you. Now, for 8 hours each weekday, he will serve his sentence of 100 hours of community work after paying a fine of 1 million shillings.
I'm always a community worker. At my office, I do counseling and guidance. I receive people. I meet people.
Fuck off.
In the field, I go. I'm always with the voiceless.
He has no option but to love it. The other option was 6 months in jail.
I love her. I love the fucking reporter.
I am not a criminal.
But while he serves his sentence, Malay is also reflecting on how to handle his anti-homosexuality campaign.
Probably these gays need to be known that they exist. And they need to be known that that is so and so's partner, that is so and so's partner.
Interesting.
Because if that is not done, then they keep preying on the voiceless, preying on the weak.
So
They
what are
marry
you
for
doing, you fucking
formality,
piece of shit?
just to cover up.
I love how he doesn't like. There's
So-
nothing about like saving the community, funding the community,
No.
stuff that like somebody that actually wants to be elected or something I would talk about. He's just like, no, gays and gays and gays.
I wish you could just like. I feel like instead of debating these people, you should get in a ring and fight them. And whoever wins can.
Whoever wins
preach.
wins the country.
Yeah.
That last thing Malay says about needing to know who is gay and who they are in a relationship with is quite a dystopian idea. But soon the seeds of those ideas would sprout into reality. Because in 2014, the 6 times elected president since 1986, Yoweri Museveni, passed an anti-homosexuality law that guys like Ssempa and Malay have been praying for. The Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2014 edition is basically the same as the 2009 bill, just refried and served again. So, same thing again. Go to jail for being gay, possibly life imprisonment. Go to jail for 7 or 10 years if you are helping out anybody who's gay.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same fucking thing. And then life, death penalty for aggravated homosexuality.
He just
Again,
updated the copyright.
It's literally nothing. Yeah, literally just updated version. iOS. One of the people who would rise up to oppose this bill is Pepe Julian
Let's
Onzima.
go, Pepe.
I want to talk about Pepe for a moment here because he's kind of our hero of the story. Pepe realized he was male at the age of 6. As he got older and puberty set in, he still maintained this and expressed himself in ways that asserted him as a man. He had his coming out in the 1990s, and his mother has been supportive of his journey through and through.
Real G.
Now,
Pep, hopefully better suits.
And like, and literally even like in 2020, he's even like managed to, kind of form relationships with the elders of his tribe as well. And even the elders of his tribe have accepted him as like a son and everything. Fucking cool. So Pepe had a choice between safely transitioning in another place or staying home in a place where becoming his true self would be choosing to live in danger.
What a Rocky Balboa comeback.
Still, Pepe chose to stay in Uganda and transition there because he wanted to change the country's view on someone like him.
Nice.
In 2014, Pepe's friend and co-worker David Kato, who was considered Uganda's first openly gay man, was murdered after his name had been published in a tabloid article titled Hang Them. When the Anti-Homosexuality Act of 2014 passed, Pepe managed to gather parents, caregivers, and over 50 organizations to contest this bill, and they fucking won. In 2016, Uganda held its 5th Pride Parade in Kampala.
Let's fucking go.
This event ends up being broken up. Onzima ends up arrested alongside other activists. While under their custody, the police ordered inmates to beat Pepe to the point where he needed to be hospitalized. The beating had been so severe that Pepe lost hearing in his left ear. The police later denied claims that anyone was ever injured.
Just slipped, like just slipped in the shower. That's the good thing.
Pepe still lives and works in Uganda. In 2019, he was interviewed by CBC Radio and said this about the whole matter. I love this country to bits, and my work is to make it the kind of place that it really is. It's beautiful. It has beautiful people, and I'm just doing my ounce of something to preserve it for people who will come after me.
God bless Pepe.
The next year, Uganda would be named one of the worst places in the world to be gay. In 2023, Museveni once again passed the Anti-Homosexuality Act. Under this bill, the death penalties could be imposed for homosexual acts considered aggravated. The bill has also stipulated sentences of up to 10 years for same-sex relationships. People who harbor homosexual people, provide them with medical treatment or legal assistance, can also be punished with up to 10 years in prison.
So you can't go to a hospital if you're gay?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
That's nuts.
So yeah, basically, yes, if you go to a doctor and a doctor finds out that you're gay and still decides to treat you rather than report you to the authorities, they could go to jail for 10 years.
So all of Pepe's tribe can go to jail for 10 years.
And lose your license for malpractice.
Exactly. Again, lose their license, their practice. So this basically just incentivizes them to report it. And then again, even as lawyers too, if you offer legal aid to somebody who's gay as well, so like that, even seeking out something like a marriage license or something like that also counts as promotion of homosexuality and can get you put in jail.
So you really can't fight the law.
Fucking yeah. They make it vague enough that literally anything you're trying to do is promoting homosexuality or aiding in some sort of way.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I hope Pepe stays safe.
I hope Pepe frees the people, honestly.
This is Pepe today.
Oh, he looked good.
He looks great.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
He's stylish.
just wanted to show you guys. Yeah,
Dude's got a nice fucking Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Actually, looks like he can bench more.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
He's jacked.
Fucking jacked. Awesome. Very happy for Pepe. Fantastic journey.
Still doing the same work.
Yeah, still doing the same work to this day. Fucking cool.
Man. Yo,
the GOAT.
Every story needs a hero, and Pepe's our hero.
Pepe's our hero. But, you know, of course, we still got to talk about this shit. So Ssempa and other guys like him will claim that a part of this act, again, was also under the guise of preventing the spread of AIDS in Africa. You know, let's go back to the whole PEPFAR thing. Let's go back to all of that.
they forgot it for 10 years, and then they're like, oh, shit, fuck.
But the truth is that laws like this actually do the opposite for the AIDS crisis. It actually makes the situation way worse. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Picture this. You are gay men.
Yes.
And you suspect you might be showing symptoms of HIV.
Yes.
But you live in a country where you can be jailed for being gay, and a doctor would be legally obligated to report you, or else he'd go to jail for 10 years.
Yes.
So what do you do when you go to the doctor? What do you say?
You don't go to the doctor.
I go to find a pastor and I fuck him.
God damn.
I bring them down from the inside.
One of the things that you'd probably be more likely to do is say you're not a gay man, that you're a straight man, and that you got this from a woman. I mean, that's how you would probably get treatment and not be reported, right? Well, that's exactly what's happening with a lot of cases and all of this just makes it incredibly hard for any research to be done because none of the information is accurate. You've got a bunch of people lying about how they contracted the virus. So the research goes almost nowhere because it's a huge portion of people just fucking, yeah.
Are condoms still hard to get a hold of?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. But yeah.
Men, get condoms, even if you're fucking a woman.
Yep.
Protect yourself.
And so, once again,
wise words.
Uganda is, again, in 2023, they end up on the world stage again for being back on their old shit. So, here's how the president, Museveni, responds.
We have a Ugandan Human Rights Commission, which is mandated by the Constitution.
So, he's been president since 1986, by the way.
Holy shit.
A dictator.
Yeah.
Is, first of all, unnecessary, but also diversionary, because some of the people may not know the difference. Instead of going to report to where action can be taken, they go to the UN. What can UN do in Uganda? They don't have the powers of enforcement. The ones who have the powers of enforcement are the Uganda National Human Rights Commission. So why divert attention of complainants with multiple points? Because for the ordinary people, they may not know the difference. The mistake of Western countries, they are the ones who are provoking, because they are really, the English word is insufferable. You can't put up with their nonsense, because nobody concentrates so much on homosexuals. Nobody is hunting them. But because they come and...
No one's hunting them, but he is.
Want to force us to say homosexuality. Oh yeah. That's how you get now a backlash. They are the ones who are provoking all this.
By being gay, they're provoking.
Yes, exactly.
By being gay and trying not to get attacked for it?
Yes, basically. By the trying to exist type deal. Yeah. And I just on this video, I just wanted to read some of the comments that I heard on it because it's fucking interesting, to say the least.
If you took the time to read the comments and reading it out for you guys, because it pissed him off.
By the way, one of the headlines on this report says, Museveni lashes out at his critics. So here's one of the comments. The way the media will make you look bad when you don't go with the agendas that they're influenced by. Dude wasn't even lashing out. He was just speaking his mind and showed a clip of him answering a question, basically. So it's like, he's an old man. He can't exactly lash out. Perhaps the lashing out headline is too much, but still, I don't.
But he's also a politician. He knows not to yell.
Yeah.
So he's just lashing out. He's just saying it as calmly as possible.
Here's another one. I'm from the Netherlands, and I wish we had such an intelligent leader as Uganda has. He is full of common sense, and that makes him a great man.
Why does that sound like sarcasm, though?
I don't know.
That sounds like a lot of sarcasm.
No, there's a ton of them that are like that, though. Like, oh, mad props to this man for standing his ground, them trying to control him.
Because a lot of people are scared of gays, but in other countries, you can't talk about it because most people aren't against gays. So the minority anti-gay people in Western countries love guys like this. They wish they had a leader like that.
Here's another one. He speaks sense 100% to me. Where is the problem here? America has a full continent to themselves. Why are they so much interested in Uganda? That's what should be concerning.
America has a third of a continent to itself.
Yeah, its own fucking country. So there is no evidence to support that, quote unquote, America is executing this conspiracy to propagate the homosexual agenda upon anyone. We do, however, stand amidst a conspiracy, boys, because there is a trail of money that can be traced all the way across the ocean from Africa to the US of A.
Don't.
In 2020, a collection of data compiled by Open Democracy found that since 2008, over $280 million of the U.S. Christian rights money had been poured into a global network exporting their ideologies. Upwards of 50 million of that money has been poured into Africa alone.
Just crates of LGBTQ flags.
No, it's the opposite.
Oh,
you dumbass.
Anti?
Yes. Fuck.
Maybe we should be putting these crates in.
So, to name a few foundations, the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, which since 2008 has poured $96,132,520. The Fellowship Foundation, which has poured $44,664,000. And the InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, $28,876,000. These are just the top three. A lot of these organizations work through programs like PEPFAR while simultaneously making sure that they did absolutely nothing to help the LGBTQ community. Instead, they spread their word like disease through guys like Scott Lively, who then pass it on to guys like Stephen Langa, Solomon Malay, or Martin Ssempa. And until we can find a cure for this disease, the battle continues for fighters like Pepe. And in places like Uganda, guys like Martin Ssempa will ensure that everyone continues to eat his poo-poo.
It's crazy that Scott Lively was the best guy they could find. Like, that's their boy. Like for this international mission.
They need a white man with the doctor title in front of it. That's all they needed.
And that is the end of the episode.
Congratulations.
So that naturally ends on a bummer, but you know.
Well, I don't think it's that much of a bummer. I think it's hopeful because the fact that Pepe is
our champion,
and he's still working towards, you know, the fight's never over if there's still someone fighting the fight.
Exactly.
So it's not, you know, there's still hope for the future.
It's all just Star Wars.
It's all Star Wars.
There's always going to be a rebellion.
He's our Rey.
Yeah. No, I don't know. He's our Luke.
Our Luke?
God damn it.
He's our Luke. Well, Rey's the most recent one, so I mean.
Okay, yeah,
that's
right.
why. That's why I'm doing that.
Okay, I would have liked it to be Finn. Anyway, I do just to
everyone would have liked to be
leave
Finn.
us on a nice little note here. For all of you, if you want something to cheer you up at the end of the PowerPoint, link in the description, I'm featuring a video that was shot during COVID of President 6 times elected since 1986. President, democratically elected president since 1986.
No corruption.
President Museveni showing his workout during COVID. So if you want to see him do push-ups fucking terribly and jog around awkwardly in his room, go watch that. Cheer yourself up. The boys are going to comment on this right now.
Oh
yeah.
That ass in the air.
He's like humping the fucking carpet.
Thinking about the gays.
It's fuck you. It's not a push-up.
It's hip thrust.
He was like when you did
and now he jogging
when you were in 3rd grade.
This is fucking hilarious. I want him in Smash Bros.
just back and forth.
It's just imagine being the photographer. They're like, all right, let me get some cool pictures of him fucking jogging. That's literally Priscilla in the corner of the room.
This is insane.
He's still running
Yeah.
in like
What is he wearing?
$200 shoes.
I have no idea. It looks cool. It looks comfy. He's dressed as Rocky. That's it.
That was montage. That's how they ended their day.
Before we head out, Priscilla, do you have anything to say on the matter? Or?
Oh no, I don't think I really do. It's just it's a ridiculous thing that's been propagated and a terrible vicious cycle. But I will say those guys, even though they're very hateable, genuinely hilarious. Like I don't think I could ever. So dumb. Like all of them included. I think Scott Lively is like he's like the dweeb. I think you put your foot out and then they trip over your foot and you kind of laugh at them. And then he just started making that everybody's problem. So now it's our problem.
Before I head out, the only other dweeb I want to point out here, who's also super responsible for this, is the British Empire.
Fuck the British.
Those guys.
Fuck the British
Fuck the
Empire.
They're responsible for this shit in a lot of other nations too, by the way. So yeah.
They started it and now they're saying,
fuck
why
you.
are you like this?
All right, though. Fantastic. So thank you for listening. We love you so much. My name is John. You can follow me on Instagram at Director John Ramirez. I have a YouTube channel where I post movies. It is called Deadtime Media. I also make reviews there. It is John Hates that channel.
Also, John, don't really have anything to plug. Leaving it to Nick.
I'm Nicola Serafino on Instagram.
All right. Take care of yourselves. We love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Go eat some poo poo tonight.
Thank you for listening.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.